Find the 5-number summary for the data set shown in the table below. In order to find the 5-number summary, we can either do it by hand, which is going to take a little bit of time because we have to sort our data, or we can take advantage of the calculator. And I will show you the calculator first, and then for those interested can view the calculation by hand afterward. So to do this with a calculator, I'm using the TI calculator, and if you have something different or some other form of technology, that's fine. Just know how to come up with the basic operations. All of them should perform fairly the same. In order to do the 5-number summary, we need to first put our data into a list. So if you hit Stat and then Edit, and get into the list editor, then clear out any list that you have already and start entering your data into, in this case, I'm going to put it in L1. Now this is just a single list of data, so I don't need to use L2 or L3 or any other lists in the calculator. Just simply the ones available, just simply L1. I'm going to pause the video to put the rest in. Okay, so I have my data set in, and I'm ready to come up with the 5-number summary. So to do that, I'm going to take advantage of the onevars_stats function, and hit Stat, slide over to Calc this time, and the very first item is onevars_stats. So I'm going to select that, and if you have the menuing system that I have, that's great. You can tell it that the list of data is located in L1 by just pressing 2nd and 1. We are not using a frequency list, so make sure you clear that in this case. And if you aren't seeing this menu, you just press 2nd and 1 to tell it that your data is in L1, and then go ahead and press Enter, and it will run the same as this did. Now, the values of the 5-number summary are on the second page of output. So we have to scroll down in order to see that. And starting with min x, that's the minimum value of our data set. And the minimum value here is 12. Then the next value given is Q1, so that's the value of the first quartile, so 26. The median shows up right after that, 47. And then we have Q3, so that's the third quartile at 71. And the maximum data entry of 90. And that's how you would do it using the calculator. Now, if you were to do this using no calculator and doing it by hand, the first thing that you would need to do is sort your data. Okay, so let me pause the video and I'll get the data sorted here. But effectively all I'm doing is just searching for the smallest data entry, and then looking for, well, there's a 12, and then looking for the next smallest and going through the data set one by one until I've gone through, well, there's a 13, until I've gone through and sorted all the data. So let me go through and sort it, and then I'll come back. Okay, now that my data is sorted, I can start identifying the individual values. And actually, one thing I think I'm going to do is move this data down a bit. Okay. All right, so a couple things that are easy to find: the minimum and the maximum. Once you have a sorted data set, that's pretty straightforward. And even if your data set is not sorted, that's not so bad. Now, the next thing that we need to find is the median. So the median, what I like to do is just start marking off one value to the highest and then the next value to the lowest, and kind of walk my way into the center of the data, because I need to find out which value is in the middle. And so right there in the middle is 47. So that's my median. And as you can see, that's what was reported in the calculator. Now, that separates our data into a lower half of the data and an upper half of the data. So the lower half of the data is this set right here. The lower half of the data has a median as well. So if I just kind of start from the outermost values and walk my way inward, then that gives me the value of the median of the lower half, and that is the value of Q1. And then the same thing for the upper half. If I walk my way toward the center there, that's going to give me the median of the upper half, which is the value of Q3.